All right, so obviously the first show that we both watched was The
Yeah.
Mandalorian on Disney Plus. So I like that it's a weekly release. So the first episode came out on Tuesday. The next one, it's going to be released on Fridays from now on.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have another episode to review
Uh-huh.
um, pretty soon, actually. But for this first episode, I will say it very much looked like the original movies. You just looked at it and you're just like,
You
what
said
year is
before the
it?
first episode?
No, the first
Oh, the
episode.
first episode?
The
Yeah, you go
Mandalorian
ahead.
looked
You
like
go ahead. Because you know me, I'm negative Nancy, so you go ahead.
I know, I know. It looked very much like the original movies. Like I felt like I was back watching 4, 5, and 6, and I was just like, wow. They really like pulled you back into it. Now, I think for hardcore Star Wars fans, it probably they were like glued to their TV. They're like, oh my God, this is Star Wars again, the world of Star Wars. For casual Star Wars fans, they're like, this is slow. Pick it up. Let's go. Let's go. I think that episode was the way that it ended, which we will get to all the spoilers in a second, but the way that it ended set it up really well. But I felt like the leading up to it was very slow for casual Star Wars fans. For people who've literally been watching this or reading it or, completely obsessed over Star Wars for the last 30, I'm sorry, no longer than that. Yes, your whole life. It was probably nonstop glued to the screen. But at the same time there were slow beats. For me, I don't think I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I don't think I'm a crazy Star Wars fan. Fall somewhere in the middle. Um, but there were some slow beats in it for me. But I enjoyed the way it ended. I'm excited for the next episode. So that's my overall take before we jump into everything.
So this is spoiler free, and then we
No,
go into it.
we can go. Yeah,
You didn't spoil shit then, so I'm gonna do the same. Okay.
Give your overview, and then we'll jump into all.
It took a long time for me to feel like I did travel to a galaxy far, far away. I fired it up with the hopes and dreams of a young kid looking upon the stars, and realized that it wasn't that until I'd say halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Halfway through the episode is when I actually felt like I was pulled into the universe. It took longer than expected. I understand the first half of why it was done that way. I wanted more out of the first half of it. Second half I really enjoyed. There were a lot of scenes where I was just like, they put Star Wars money into this. And then the very next cut I was like, they did not put Star Wars money into this.
Yep.
There are a couple of these. I really liked specific characters. I can't wait to see what else comes down the pipes. And I can't talk about it anymore without ruining any of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, then let's dive into actual spoil details now. So now we're into the spoiler section. So if you haven't watched it, obviously stop. Go watch it. It's just one episode. It's not even an hour long. It's 40 minutes, which, by the way, in a streaming service, it should be an hour. I'm sorry. Like you should be an hour long. Like that makes no sense. There's no commercials. You should be an hour. The only reason hour-long television shows are 40 minutes is because you have commercials. Your streaming service without commercials, make it an hour long. So now spoilers.
Maybe they're preparing to be able to add commercials in the future unless you pay for Disney Plus Plus.
Of course they are, because
microtransactions.
The mouse wants all the money. So I know that they said they even mentioned. And
they mentioned what? I'm sorry.
They even mentioned that they don't take off their helmets. Like nobody sees their faces. They mentioned that in the show, in the very first episode.
Which means he will at some point.
Exactly, but I still expected him to take off his helmet at some point.
In the first episode? No.
No, just like
I would have been upset about that.
Like at home or something. I don't know, because he's he's
a bounty hunter. What do you mean at home?
Okay, stop. Hold on.
I'm gonna fight you on this. Let's go.
Getting outside of the Star Wars world and getting into the business side of it. As an actor, you want your face on screen. You don't want your face covered.
The mouse in Disney and Star Wars do not give a shit about the actor. It is about the universe and the experience. When you go to Disney World, you don't hear somebody in the goofy costume talking to the dad like, yeah, I'll get a picture. I'll get a picture. They do the voices. You're in the element 24/7. So that was a bad point. Go ahead.
Calm down.
I'm gonna eat it.
Calm
I'm gonna eat a hot. Go.
Look at Marvel. How many times did all of their masks come off during the battle? There's no reason for any of their masks. Like when T'Challa lands, it's like, Clint, hand me that. There's no reason for the mask to come off. Oh no, they do it because it's Chadwick Boseman. Show Chadwick Boseman's face because we need to show his face.
Was Chadwick Boseman known before that movie in the game?
Yes.
Okay, so he was an asset to be able to definitely promote the movie. Okay, so I don't give a shit who this character is, nor do I know who this character is. So
yes,
nor
you do.
do I count.
You watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, then okay, great. Then does that matter to me?
Okay, my God. Anyways, let's move. We're arguing. Stupid point about it. Anyways, we're eventually going to have his helmet come off or whatever. But
I hope it didn't stay off. Just like on and off.
Okay. I felt like the sets, all the bars looked the same. I was like, I have no idea what planet's he on. Is he on the same planet in the same bar? They all look the same, which was kind of annoying.
When's the last time you went to an actual bar? They all look the same. Yeah, all bars are the same. The only difference is sometimes girls are dancing on the table. I mean,
what bars are you going to?
I was talking about Coyote Ugly, okay?
I know, it's a horrible bar.
It is, but welcome to Nashville.
But anyways, and then you're right. Some of the which camera shots were you talking about that you're like, where did your money go? Why is it not in this shot? I'm interested to see if we have the same one. The shots where you were like, where did your money go? Why is it not like? Where's this? Like it looked like crap. I'm interested to see if we have the same.
There were when the dude who, by the way, the line of "I have spoken," fucking love it. From now on, I'm gonna say that like all the time, the same way. I'm gonna piss people off because I work at a call center. You know, you're not getting good credit. I have spoken.
Yeah.
When they're both riding up to the edge before overlooking the place, you saw it too. I saw that. I was like, "The fuck."
How did nobody catch that? It looked awful. Also, the whole
she goes,
like
also she
the whole 5-minute section or whatever of him trying to learn. It was like I fell once. Oh, I can't do this. This is impossible. You're a Mandalorian. You need to blah 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 blah.
It was about his history and his past. Yeah, well, that was why I chose Netflix over Disney.
That whole segment of him learning to ride didn't need it. Why? It's stupid. It didn't even like last long enough to mean anything. It was just like, it's not gonna work. Oh, it works. Okay, let's go.
I really hope that they like the Mandalorians are known for being the riders of animals like that and other species, just so the Star Wars people come in this channel, because I don't know, they come in here and they fucking trash you for this. Because I always get trashed because I'm Negative Nancy, but I'd like you at one point just to get reamed on.
Nobody wants to make a pregnant lady cry.
Oh my god. This is the internet. Okay. Nobody gives a shit. Go.
Probably. So yeah, I noticed that shot too, and I was just like, what happened to your money right there? What happened to your budget? Was that one of the last shots you did and you didn't have any money left? So that was kind of annoying. There wasn't as much action in the first like 3/4 of the movie.
Okay.
And then towards the end, with the last fight and everything, obviously there was a lot of gunplay.
You know who the droid was, right?
Taika Waititi.
I loved the droid. Was the highlight of the episode, including the very end. The droid was the highlight of the episode for me. I really hope it's a main character. I don't think it will be.
I think that he's gonna put it back together.
If he does and rewires it, that would be awesome, because that droid was fucking perfect. I absolutely loved that droid.
He's in promo pictures. I'm like, they're not gonna put him in pictures if he's in an episode. They're not gonna put him in promo pictures if he was only in one episode.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I want him to be in more. I love the droid. The beginning, I did not like at all with the alien, the first bounty that he was pulling.
Oh, he was annoying.
It wasn't annoying. It felt like just a guy named Jonathan at the bar that you pick up and take to... It was like every Star Wars character, they speak an alien language. They have a lisp, they have a tongue, they have something about them that makes them feel unique. And it just sounded like a guy named Jonathan. Just like, oh yeah, well, I guess I'm captured. Let's go. You know,
Yeah.
there was nothing, and I really didn't like that character.
No.
I
Did we
wanted
even know why he was being hunted?
no.
Did he just was it one of those like another Skip Bale or something like
I think if you're doing
Fable?
that to show his process and how determined he is to be able to get somebody, would have liked it to be I would have it would have been cheesy, but a generic tough guy that you're bringing in on
Yeah.
a bounty. I would have rather had that than some guy that literally sounded like he wasn't trying at all. I
He's
have
like,
nothing
"Oh,
against
you're
the
here to get
actor.
me?"
He may have been told to do this, but I didn't feel like I was in the Star Wars universe until he walked in the door and the stormtroopers that are basically guns for hire as security now were standing there.
Yeah.
That's when I started to feel it, and he gave him the medal, and then it clicked when the shoulder pad was made, and I was like, fuck yes, here we go. But prior to that,
Why did it click with the shoulder pad?
because it shows the blacksmith, the tradition of the Mandalorians, the it's not just their bounty hunters. It's not a a Boba Fett or anything. It's almost like a league. Like if you're playing,
Yeah.
you won't get this. Like if you're playing Skyrim and you're attached to a guild or somebody, it's the tradition of the Mandalorians themselves, and you could tell there was honor in this when he brought that in, and her crafting it into the shoulder pad and putting it on. It was a moment that you got a feeling that it was important, even though you didn't understand why. Which it
I
will
actually thought
open
it
it
was
up.
money. I thought it was money. Meltdown money.
No.
Phew. So,
He
yeah,
even
didn't
said
know
it was a
that.
specific type of, I believe, steel when he held it up. Do you know when this takes place, by the way, since we haven't even mentioned the time frame of this?
Yes, that was something I was going to bring up later. So it takes place about 4 or 5 years after the Return of the Jedi. 5 years. So 5 years after Episode 6. So that's when it takes place. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we jump into the very end and the big things?
Let me review it. Hurting. The great character where he's like, I help everybody because it'll bring peace. I've said my piece, or I've spoken. Bad opening, him electrocuting a giant killer seal under the ice. The bounties that were made, him wanting to take everything. I like the different currency. Because they were showing that he tried to pay him in imperial currency, and then he's like, what the hell is this? Because the empire fell. So it's showing the transition is still slowly happening on there. So I did like that world building, even though it was jellies or like a calamari kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but you don't have to. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump to the very end.
So the very end, because he gets the
flamethrower and the cable that he shoots. Both of those, I'm glad he has both of those. Those are main things for a bounty hunter and a Mandalorian themselves. So those are actually trademark moves for him. I didn't like how he can fight everybody in the Blue Moon, but then a two-legged fucking lizard comes over and just grabs his arm and then holds him there, just fucking with him.
That was
so
annoying.
I didn't like that. But go ahead.
So he gets a special assignment to go capture this 50-year-old person who does this guy work for? The guy that hired him? Does he say? Like, I mean, you would think that he's some kind of either Empire, Future Order, something member because he has the stormtroopers with him. So you're made to believe that he's the bad guy because he has stormtroopers with him. Because if you have stormtroopers with you, your audience is supposed to see you as the bad guy.
Yeah, but they're hired guard stormtroopers. They're not, because the Empire fell and the way they look, they're just trying to make ends meet for their families and such. And I just had a weird thought come into my head about the whole process of this series. But go ahead.
Okay. So he gets hired on the special assignment to capture this 50-year-old person. And when he gets there, that's when he meets the robot, the bounty robot that's Taika Waititi, that is just... I love the way that the robot was just like running,
the
like
head
just
spins
circling
and he tries to keep killing himself. He's like, "We are unable to escape. I'm going to self-destruct." No, we're gonna give me cover.
it makes sense also though because, and it also, I think that he's gonna bring him back is one because he's in the posters because that means he has to be around longer. But then two, he shoots him, which he specifically said that he can't fall into enemy hands. So that's. Foreshadowing, I think that he shoots him, he's going to build him back, and he's going to like be his Chewbacca or whatever. But They finally get in there. Now, when they got inside after they killed all the people and they got inside and it was all quiet, I was like, it's a kid.
Yeah.
It's a kid and he's not going to be able to do it. And then you see the little tube thing and I was like,
The
oh
J-
my God,
the
it's a
Jesus
baby.
pod. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a baby. Now, I knew when he got the assignment, just the way that it felt, I was like, the reason they're not saying any names or anything like that, I was like, it has to be somebody from the Star Wars universe that we're not somebody, but somebody that we're familiar with. There has to be some kind of connection here, because they're being very, very vague about this. And I watched enough movies and shows to know that we have a connection to whoever this is that he's going to hunt. And so when you see the pod and you're like, it's a baby. Oh my God, whose baby is it? And then it opens, and it's baby Yoda.
It's not Yoda.
It's not Yoda, but it's a baby Yoda.
That's racist,
And
what you just did right there. You just said they
Shut
all look
up.
the same. You are a racist.
Apparently they do, because we've only seen two, and they look the same.
Maybe they
Now-
were wiped out by the Empire because of their high midichlorian count. And the reason why they want this kid alive is because they're going to pull the midichlorians out and use them as midichlorians to be able to clone the Empire for episode 9 that comes out, because this ends one episode after Star Wars is released. That's what's going to happen. They're going to use
Okay, but
use Baby Yoda's.
But this takes place many years before episode 7.
I'm aware.
Okay, so this little Yoda,
Uh-huh.
'cause I don't know what else to call him.
Yeah.
He's 50 years old,
Uh-huh.
still an infant,
Uh-huh.
because they age differently. Which I love that comment. But that baby Yoda was alive when Yoda was alive. Yoda only died
Could be a son.
5 years. Yeah, exactly.
Could-
That could be Yoda's son. At
It could be just a long lost kid. Basically, Yoda had some crazy times in his 900 years,
Oh,
and you
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
who he hooked up with.
Well, at first I thought it was actually like Yoda reborn, and then I found
Yeah.
out the timeline.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that doesn't match up because Yoda hadn't died yet, and this kid's been around for 50 years.
Okay.
So, I'm interested to know more because I don't know. I've never read into the mythology
About his
of Yoda.
species.
Yeah, about his species.
Well,
I don't know anything
Yeah,
about it.
I neither do I. That's why weird thing that popped into my head a few minutes ago is maybe you don't see the species because the species was big on being able to be in touch with the Force, and they were wiped out, or
Yep.
at least a majority of them. That's why this is such a high bounty, and because
Mm-hmm.
it's a high bounty, the guy who came in on the side when the guy was like, or you can bring him back dead if needed, and he was like,
Yeah.
what? We didn't agree on that. He was made to. I don't know if he was said to be or he felt like a scientist. What if
did.
they're
He
okay?
did.
Okay, so they're gonna use that little little fake
The little
Yoda.
shit?
Yeah, he's green. You're gonna be dealing with green poop here soon. So, yeah. So they're gonna use fake Yoda to be able to try to not the DNA, but try to pull the midichlorians out, and that's what they use to start building the clones of the Empire, and hence the reason why he was able to come back in Episode 9, because Episode 9 comes out 1 week before the season finale of this.
Episode 9 comes out before the season finale?
Yeah.
Okay, so but this timeline still, like, we're not going to jump that far in advance in the timeline. So the
I know.
episode is still going to take
Because
place.
yeah,
prior
cloning. When you clone somebody, they walk out of a tube straight up, right?
Shut up. I'm
Yeah.
just saying from a timeline perspective, so nobody.
What if it's Ray's dad? What if that scientist and I'm just saying the scientist wanted Baby Yoda for a reason. It's got to be involved in something mystical. It's got to be involved in the Jedi and Empire. And the Empire was crumbled. They look shady because they had the stormtroopers, so they're going to do something shady with that kid. Why is that kid important to everybody? Because he was the greatest Force user of all time, besides obviously Skywalker. Hence the reason they're going to do tests on him. Why would they want to do tests on him? The Empire's crushed. They're not trying to study anything. What are they trying to do? Their fallen master is gone. Oh, let's try to bring it back with using the Force. We don't know how to harness the Force. Let's force our way to learn the Force. If I'm fucking someone in the ballpark, I am gonna be on cloud 9 forever. That's some bullshit that I just said, and maybe there's a loophole or something in there. But I'm not gonna lie, it makes kind of a little bit of sense. I just came up with it a moment ago.
I mean, they could always just do it as simple as, oh, we want him because we know that he's going to be strong with the Force and we want him on our side. It could be as simple as that.
It could be.
Or it could be as complicated as what you just said. I'm sure it falls somewhere in between.
Yeah, they could have also kept it simple and just had Luke and Leia not be related. But they did. They made them be related to their father and their joint and the connection between them. I'm just telling you right now, I have a good feeling about this.
Okay.
You like
All
that
right.
Star Wars reference right there?
So yeah, overall for the episode, I think it started off slow. Took a while to build, but again, you've got to give pilot episodes a break. Even streaming pilot episodes, it does. Your even established worlds take a little bit of time to build into a new. Pilot episodes are never great. Like I've never seen a pilot episode and be like, oh my god, that was so good. The acting and the sets and the story and everything fit perfect. Like pilot episodes are not great.
Okay.
So definitely got to give it a break there because
Okay.
it's a pilot. But overall, what would you give it grade wise?
Just for the episode 1?
Just episode 1.
I want to say 7.5 to an 8. I really enjoyed it. It opened up a lot of
That
questions.
is way higher than I thought you would go.
When it pulled me into the Star Wars universe, it did it correctly. It just took a while to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I docked points on that. And the droid was fucking perfect. I prefer, everyone loves, Rogue One's droid. But yeah. I honestly like this one just because of, just through and through. Not because of the voice acting, but you could feel it wasn't emotion, but it just felt great. I loved that droid.
I feel like this is the first time ever that I'm actually giving something a lower score than.
Probably.
I'm only giving it a 7.
I was supposed to give it a grade, yeah. So.
No, you can give it your 7.5.
Thank you. Okay.
Fine, whatever. But I mean, I liked it, but again, for casual Star Wars fans, it's gonna be hard for them to get into this right away. They might want to wait till they can watch multiple episodes. For hardcore fans, they're gonna love it, and for most of us that fall in between, it will take a little bit to jumpstart. Which I'm glad they did the Tuesday release and Friday release, so you get 2 episodes pretty close together.
Yeah, I agree.
But then it's gonna be a weekly.
My question: do you know the Friday release? Is it 5 a.m. or is it fucking midnight? Because I want to know.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up then.
I'll wake up at midnight. I'll check it. If not, then I'll go to bed and watch it before I go to work that day.
All right, that sounds good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more, more Star Wars content, more backstory, just more.
Okay.